Someone asked me once if I remembered how it all went down, as if it happened so long ago that anyone could forget. So yeah, I remember. I remember when our homes and our towns turned into graveyards, when the wilderness became our only hope for survival. I remember when the planes fell out of the skies, when the trains stopped running, when the turbines shut down, and the world went dark. I remember when they put up the razor wire, like it was gonna stop anything. And the feds ran out of body bags.
Dig, rope.
And some of us sort of lost our minds.
I think he's dead.
Some lost more than that. Much more. I remember when we lived by a code, when brotherhood meant something, and living meant more than surviving.
Goddamn liar!
So yeah, I remember how it all went down. I don't give a damn about any of that. You know what I remember most? Riding the open road. The smell of your hair. The touch of your skin. I remember you. But those days are gone. Now I'm a drifter, a bounty hunter, a mercenary. And for me, the broken road is all that's left. But I'll always remember.
Here is creative director John Garvin and studio director Chris Reese to tell us about, as the shirts say, Days Gone. So I remember we chatted last year down at the Shrine right after you unveiled the game for the first time. And now we got a new update. So I think a lot of fans just want to know, hey, it's a year later. How has the game evolved or changed from what we saw last year?
Yeah, man, we've just been working really hard on it. And what we wanted to show off this year was last year, as you know, we showed Deacon encountering a horde, which is hundreds and hundreds of freakers on screen.
Yeah.
And this year we wanted to kind of show off more of the open world. So a little bit of the bike gameplay, a little bit of the stealth gameplay, human enemies, and I think probably the biggest thing is something we're calling our enemy ecosystem.
Okay.
So you can fight the horde once you get powerful enough, but in this demo, you're actually using the horde to take on a marauder encampment.
Okay.
So we thought that was pretty cool how you could actually use enemies against each other.
So yeah, how does that work in the gameplay?
Just like you see it in the demo.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like, it's part of our open world dynamic systems.
Okay.
So sometimes you're on a mission and there might be a swarm present. Sometimes there might be a rager bear, which is an infected bear. Sometimes there might be wolves present, like you see here. And you can use these as tools. So you could actually, like in the extended demo here, you see Deacon sort of falling into an ambush.
Yep.
But in our extended demo, he actually avoids that ambush.
Okay.
And it's kind of one of the things that makes the game play out differently every time you play, because you just never know what's going to happen.
Wow. Can tell that it's going to be very visceral and intense. And, obviously the thing that struck me was, how sort of open the world felt. I mean, the scale and scope of this, it feels like we're getting into some, really detailed moments. Reminds me a lot of Horizon, with sort of a lot of depth and detail in these, story moments, but the world is pretty expansive, right?
Yeah, it is. It's very dynamic. It's always coming after you, just
Yeah.
like you saw a glimpse here, where, it's one thing after another. But one thing to note is, like, in this playthrough that you're seeing right now, it's like Deacon fired his weapon twice, right? But was able to take out an entire enemy camp.
In our alternate path demo, he goes around this camp, comes up behind them, takes them out without them knowing that he's there. And everything you see here is real. It's like you can go down that highway. This whole region is part of the Cascade Wilderness region. It's just one small part of a very large world.
Wow. From a narrative perspective, tell us what we're seeing here. What point in the game is this? Is this kind of earlier in the game, or?
So it's still pretty early in the game. Yeah, and again, we're not talking a lot about story yet, but one of the things that you can tell from watching the demo is that Deacon is kind of a mercenary, right? We've said that before. He's a bounty hunter. And when Copeland, the leader of that encampment, that's one of the encampments where sort of law-abiding survivors gather together for protection, tells him, hey, a spy run's been hit. Deacon's like, not my problem. Right? And that's kind of a harsh response. But then instantly when he finds out that one of his friends was taken captive, then he's like, boom, he gets on his bike and he rides out. So that, we're trying to show, that Deacon is, he's a member of an outlaw motorcycle club before the whole world ended, gives him a lot of skills and tools that you can use to like survive.
Yeah.
But he's not a bad guy.
Yep. No, and you can, but he's put in some tough situations here, and it feels really gritty, and that was something last year. I mean, there was a warmth to sort of what we saw last year in some parts, and this, it's like it's dark and intense, and I can't wait to see sort of where the story takes us. How much of this game do you think you're going to be sort of playing, on the road on your bike? Like how big a part of the game is that? Obviously, you're moving around locations.
So a big part of the game is what we call the broken road.
Okay.
So there's a lot of obstacles out there. Everything that you see vehicles along the side of the road.
Yeah.
Those are vehicles that you actually can use for scavenging to find elements that you need, tools that you need. But the road, it's its own hazard, right?
Yeah.
And the world is. So the bike actually is a very important part of Beacon.
So we really wanted, so again, it's a big world, right?
Yeah.
So in the drifter bike, we call it a drifter bike because we have this drifter mechanic, which you can see in the demo, which is really all about, doing super tight turns and learning how to ride on the trails. So it's a pretty big world, all those trails you can ride on. And when the weather changes, that really changes up how the game plays. So again, in our alternate demo, it's snowing most of the time, and you can just see how that affects your ability to stay on the trails.
Wow, but look, I mean.
And this
So
is a
much going
swarm,
on
right,
there.
by the way. So, last year we showed off the horde, which is hundreds and hundreds. This is a swarm, which is smaller, but way more common. So you can run into swarms throughout the game, and they can be almost anywhere.
Wow, you don't want to disrupt that swarm.
No.
And you said very dynamic, so I'm sure there are multiple paths sort of through all these adventures. In terms of kind of navigating through the world and whatnot, I mean, is there, we're not seeing a lot of interface here, but I mean, what is that going to look like? Do I go to is there a map that I can pull up? I mean, how do I navigate through the world?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, we try to keep it as minimal as possible so it only shows up when it's needed.
Okay.
But it'll give you all the information you need as you go and show you what tools you have available for you.
And how kind of open is it or non-linear in terms of, am I going to sort of be multiple missions sort of around the map, and things I can do and tasks I can go to, similar to any kind of open?
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's really open. It's really kind of up to you. You're going to definitely have missions that you're going on. Like this is a mission that you can go on, but the way you need to approach it is really up to the player.
Wow. Well,
including like what time of day you want to do it. So again,
exactly.
The behaviors of the marauders changes depending on if it's nighttime or daytime, how many enemies you're going to encounter. Freakers are out more often at night and they're more powerful at night.
Yeah.
Swarms, hordes are more often at night. So it just depends on how you want to play it.
Yeah, well, it's amazing to see, I look at this footage and I think back to amazing moments I had playing Horizon and thinking of, open world, PlayStation 4 games, and you guys, taking it in a different direction. But, with all those swarms, marauders, I can't wait to see more of this.